The hearing room was packed, tension hanging like smoke before a storm. Lawmakers sat in crisp suits, reporters with notepads ready, and cameras locked in place. It was supposed to be another day of loud performances and carefully staged drama, with Marjorie Taylor Greene taking center stage as usual, and Jasmine Crockett, as always, painted by critics as the angry voice of the left. But Jasmine wasn't angry today. She was silent, calm, composed in a deep navy suit, not reacting to Marjorie's jabs and smirks, not even blinking when Marjorie leaned into the mic and said with that smirk, "Some of us are here to work. Others are just here to play victim." The room chuckled lightly. Jasmine's face remained unreadable. After Marjorie's 10-minute rant, Jasmine finally leaned forward and asked to enter several documents into the official hearing record. Most in the room assumed it was just procedural, but when the screen behind her flickered to life and a file titled G 3-pack wire transfer activity, unreported, appeared, the energy shifted instantly. She began outlining dates, amounts, and destination accounts, all tied to Marjorie's political operations. She detailed how funds had been split into small, unreported chunks and rerouted through shell companies based in the Cayman Islands. The transactions lined up perfectly with a luxury retreat held in Florida, hosted by far-right donors and lobbyists. She spoke slowly, without raising her voice. Her voice was cold steel under velvet. Then she pressed a small remote and played a clip. It was unmistakably Marjorie's voice on a Zoom call with donors, laughing as she said, "Forget policy. We just need to keep the narrative hot and the noise loud. That's how we win. These ethics rules are for people who lose." The room fell completely silent. Reporters sat up. Lawmakers shifted in their seats. And Jasmine, still calm, looked across the table and said one sentence that broke the air in half. "This came from your own staff, Congresswoman." Jasmine leaned forward, her hands steady as she began to speak again. This time, it wasn't just numbers and names. It was a precise sequence of events, a full timeline. She showed that 3 months ago, Marjorie's office held a fundraiser that was never formally disclosed. Just one day later, several wire transfers were made from that PAC, each just under the legal limit of $10,000, carefully structured to avoid automatic reporting. Then came the connection. 2 weeks after those deposits, a bill was introduced in Congress that directly benefited the very corporations present at the retreat. Jasmine clicked the next slide. There it was, a digital signature, Marjorie's. The tension in the room exploded. Marjorie interrupted, her voice sharp and cracking. "This is harassment. This is a witch hunt. You're obsessed with me because I'm not afraid to speak the truth." Jasmine didn't move. Her voice stayed level. "It's always the loudest ones who have something to hide." "That was it," Marjorie snapped. She stood abruptly, knocking over her chair. Papers flew from her desk. She threw her hands in the air, yelling over everyone. "This is a joke. I'm not staying here to be humiliated by a radical." She grabbed a water bottle, slammed it down, and stormed out of the hearing, live on national television. The hearing room was stunned. Even those usually on her side sat in silence, their faces pale and confused. Some tried to pretend it hadn't happened. Others just stared at Jasmine, who calmly picked up her notes and returned to her seat. Outside the chamber, within minutes, the footage went viral. Every major network aired it. Clips replayed nonstop. Commentators were speechless. It was no longer just a hearing. It was a political explosion. And Jasmine Crockett didn't need to say another word. It hadn't started with drama. It started in silence. Months ago, in a back hallway of the Capitol, where a junior staffer from Marjorie's office approached Jasmine's aide, eyes nervous, hands shaking. "I can't be part of this anymore," he whispered. What followed were weeks of quiet handovers, emails, wire records, meeting minutes, off-the-record calls. One by one, more insiders came forward, each bringing pieces of a puzzle that no one thought would ever be complete. Jasmine never rushed. She didn't leak a single document. She didn't call a press conference or float rumors to media outlets. She worked at night, poring over receipts, cross-checking signatures, confirming travel logs, matching timestamps. Her team kept asking when she planned to go public. She only said, "When the curtain's up and the world is watching," and that's exactly what she did. After the hearing, chaos exploded across the media. Marjorie's office rushed to release a denial, calling the evidence doctored, accusing Jasmine of deepfake manipulation. But by then, the DOJ had already confirmed the records were real. Within 48 hours, 2 staffers resigned. 3 donors quietly deleted their social media. A formal ethics probe was opened. Jasmine refused every interview. No press tour, no podcast appearances. To the one outlet who managed to reach her, she gave just one line: "Truth doesn't need applause, just timing." And then she closed the door. 1 week passed, but the echoes of what happened still lingered in every hallway. When Jasmine Crockett stepped into the Capitol that morning, the air shifted. People turned. Conversations paused. Even those who once scoffed at her presence now watched her with quiet respect, or silent fear. She didn't need security. She didn't need a podium. She carried only a slim folder under one arm and the kind of composure that couldn't be faked. The chamber, once loud with insults and posturing, fell into an uneasy hush as she entered. Marjorie's seat was still there, physically, but it was empty. Word had quietly spread that she had been placed on indefinite leave pending ethics review. No one dared say her name out loud, not today. Jasmine didn't gloat. She didn't smile. She walked to her desk, took her seat, and opened her folder. Another case, another fight, another truth waiting to be revealed. She didn't need to say anything, but in the final moments of the hearing, as murmurs returned and the gavel was raised, Jasmine glanced at the gallery, where a new generation of aides, interns, and reporters sat wide-eyed, and spoke softly. "You can scream at truth, deny it, run from it, but once the curtain falls, all that's left is light."